looking at the little girl lying motionless in the hospital bed. President Min knew what had happened last night. At this time, Ellie's mother also walked in. It turned out that President Min often went to her place to have his shoes shined. After learning that the girl was her daughter, President Min decided to tell the truth. He asked Eula if she remembered him. Eula said she had never seen him before. President Min said, "It seems you were really scared last night." He told Eula to confess immediately. Eula was the one who was driving last night, but she let her husband take the blame. But at this time, Eula just wouldn't admit it. President Min couldn't say anything in the face of this. Gouda went to the hospital and asked the ex-mother-in-law to negotiate in private. He said that Enzo had drunk and rushed in front of the car. Angry Enzo's mother directly gave him a slap. "You have not the slightest bit of remorse for hitting someone, and you even slandered my unconscious daughter." Chairman Min showed Ellie the photos he took at the scene of the accident. When Ellie saw these, she was speechless with shock. She rushed into the high-level meeting and threw the photos in front of Eula. When Eula saw these photos, she was so scared that she immediately told everyone to disperse. Ellie directly told Eula the truth about the hit and run. Eula said she didn't do it on purpose. Ellie said she would never let you off. Eula's mother asked Ellie to meet her, and hoped Ellie would not pursue the matter and find out who the driver was. Everyone is family. There is no need to make a scene like this. But Ellie said none of you have even said sorry. Her mother-in-law hoped Ellie would consider the child Eula is carrying. Ellie insisted that this was a hit and run. Her mother-in-law asked Ellie if she wanted Eula to go to jail. Ellie just wanted justice for her sister. The mother-in-law said that nothing like that would happen. Ellie didn't understand what she meant. Eula's mother said that Eula had already turned herself in. It turned out that she had been stalling Ellie. Ellie knew that if Eula turned herself in, Eula would no longer be considered a hit and run. At that moment, Eula turned herself in at the police station. The police said that they would contact her after the investigation was complete. Just then, Gouda's mother rushed in, saying that her son was not responsible for the Enzo traffic accident. The old woman didn't even notice that Eula was there, and said that Eula had threatened her son to take the blame for her. Hearing Eula speak almost scared the old woman to death. Back home, Eula angrily rebuked her mother-in-law. "I gave you a chance and you treated me like this," and saw her husband still defending her. Eula cursed him for deliberately making her a hit-and-run driver. The old woman said that her son was genuinely trying to help you take the blame. Eula told them to stop acting. When Eula returned home, her father scolded her angrily, saying, "How could you cause a hit-and-run? The other party is still your sister-in-law's younger sister." Gouda tried to help explain, but her father angrily rebuked him, saying, "You're a lawyer, and you did this kind of thing?" Gouda said he would think of a way to help Eula clear her name. This almost made the old father die of anger. He told Eula that if she did something wrong, she should be willing to take responsibility. Gouda told Ellie that it was best to negotiate. He said that no matter how much compensation they wanted, they were willing to pay. But Ellie only wants the perpetrator to get the punishment he deserves. Gouda told Eula to go to the hospital and apologize, but Eula was unwilling to do so. Gouda said that was just to show her father. Eula's mother looked at Enzo in the hospital bed, and blamed her for ruining her daughter's life. She would not let anyone who hurt her daughter go. Eula's mother told Ellie's mother that Enzo came to her that day because she wanted money, to help me investigate something for money. But Ellie's mother doesn't believe her daughter would do such a thing. Eula's mother even said that Enzo was drunk and ran in front of Eula's car. Ellie's mother can't believe that her best friend of decades would say such a thing. Eula's mother said, "As long as you dare to touch my child, I won't let you and your eldest daughter and youngest daughter go." Ellie's mother said, "You will definitely regret this." Eula's mother threatened her that if there is no negotiation, she will let Ellie divorce Junu. Ellie's mother says, "My daughter's life is still hanging in the balance, and you're talking about negotiation." But Eula's mother says, right now, all she can see is her own child. She can't care about anyone else. Eula, who is scared, asks her mother what to do. Her mother tells her not to worry. Gouda will take care of it. Eula says, "That person can't be trusted right now. He told me to go home and pretend to take responsibility. But in the end, I became a hit-and-run driver." Her mother is shocked when she hears this. Gouda is still reassuring his mother-in-law that he will never let anything happen to Eula. But his mother-in-law immediately revealed his ambition, and produced a document to explain to him that if his black accounts were discovered, he would have to take the blame. She asked Gouda to write a confession and put his thumbprint on it. Gouda, who had returned to the office, was furious. Jack asked Eula out and said, "I happened to be nearby when the accident happened. You were the one who hit the person with your car. Your husband wants to take the blame for you." Eula didn't expect that this scene was witnessed by others. Junu asked Eula to go to the hospital and apologize. But Eula said, "How can I apologize? If I do, they will definitely consider reconciliation. Because of Ellie, I lost my company and husband, and even lost my father's trust." Junu could not say much in the face of this. Gouda was about to drive Eula's car out the door, when he opened the door and saw the documents on the ground. Upon looking, he saw that it was a paternity report and a letter. He carefully looked at the materials in his hands. On the other side, Enzu, who had been seriously injured, finally woke up. Her mother excitedly hugged her daughter as she woke up. Eula stumbled out of the ward. Enzu woke up. If she found someone to make a false statement, her secret would be revealed. Enzu, who had long known her true identity, hugged her mother and cried uncontrollably. Eula's mother told Enzu to get well and that she had something important to ask her. Ellie said that her sister had just woken up and that you, being selfish, only wanted to reconcile. Eula's mother said that her precious daughter had been worried about everything lately. She got pregnant and encountered this unlucky event. Unable to eat or sleep well, Ellie's mother just watched her cry non-stop. In Eula's mother's opinion, Enzu deliberately ran in front of the car and got hit. She said that if anything happens to Eula's baby, she will not let either of you off. Eula quickly came in and pulled her mother away. Guda's mother and sister were waiting for Eula to come in, but Eula didn't bother to say a word to them. Her sister said that she is now afraid to see her sister-in-law. We are completely servants in this family. Eula told Guda to settle the matter with Enzu or else he would blame himself. At that moment, Guda's mother came in and told them to eat. Eula's attitude towards his mother-in-law was very bad. Guda really couldn't stand it anymore. He said that he knew that you and your mother would use me up and then discard me. Eula said that it was good that you didn't just throw away this trash. Guda said that she would definitely regret doing that in the future. Eula was so angry that her child almost fell out. At the dinner table, Eula was very angry. She's too old to make a good bean sprout soup, and scared her mother-in-law to stammer and not know what to say. Eula despises her as worthless, and her mother-in-law keeps apologizing to her. Eula doesn't give her face and just leaves. Lucy says this scene is really familiar. We bullied Ellie like this every day. Guda tells them to grit their teeth and persevere and that things will soon return to normal. This cold-blooded mother and daughter used me and then wanted to abandon me. Looking at the paternity report in his hands, he gave an evil smile. Looking at his wife sleeping on the bed, Guda said smugly, "Your mother's past is in my hands. What else can she do to me?" Eula's mother threw a check at Enzu and asked her to stamp the reconciliation letter, threatening her that if she didn't reconcile, she would let your sister divorce. Enzu directly mentioned Eula's mother's brother's name. Hearing this, Eula's mother quickly turned around and excitedly asked Enzu if she had found her brother. She pulled Enzu and asked why she didn't tell her earlier. Enzu said that you never answered your phone when I called you. She asked where her brother was. Enzu said that he was dead. Eula's mother almost couldn't stand when she heard this. Enzu took out an address and gave it to her. When Eula returned home, she looked at the photo in her hand. She cried and asked why her brother had to go. That day, when Guda was worshipping Eula's brother, he was so scared that he trembled. The mother-in-law told them to stay here tonight. Eula, who hated seeing Guda, told him to go sleep in the study. Guda had no choice but to go to the study with a pillow in his arms. He looked at his brother's photo on the desk and stared at himself. He was so scared that he swallowed. In the middle of the night, someone suddenly came and woke Guda up. When he opened his eyes, he was almost scared to death. In front of him stood the late Eula. Eula grabbed Guda and asked him, "How dare you come here and kill me? How dare you sleep in my study?" Guda kept denying. Eula said, "You killed me and married my sister. You want to take over my family's wealth." Guda, who was almost strangled to death, woke up in a struggle. He quickly covered Eula's photo and stumbled out of the study. But as soon as he escaped, he met Eula again. Eula still refused to let him go. Just as he thought he was going to be strangled to death, Jiu, who was passing by, woke up Guda from his nightmare. He was always trembling in fear after all the evil deeds he had done. Scared, Guda could not even stand up in the bathroom. Enzu, who had not yet been discharged from the hospital, ran to Eula's house. Seeing Eula standing in front of her, she did not say a word. She went straight to Eula's room and started smashing things. Eula's mother pulled her back and asked her not to. She begged her to reconcile with her daughter. So sad. Enza took out the reconciliation letter she had already signed. Eula's mother handed her the agreed-upon reconciliation money. Enzu refused. Just as she was about to leave, she fainted. Eula went to the police to confirm whether Guda knew that Jack was the suspect in the Big Brother murder case. The police officer in charge of the case clearly told her that Guda had known about it from the beginning. Thinking that she had personally asked someone to clear Jack's name, thinking that Guda had lied to her and didn't know about Jack, Eula stumbled out of the police station. Suddenly, she felt a sharp pain in her stomach. Ellie, who was outside, quickly walked over. Eula angrily asked Ellie what she knew. Ellie asked her to calm down. Eula couldn't understand why she was so obsessed with her brother's case. No matter what Ellie explained, Eula thought she was trying to slander Guda. She wanted to make Guda the suspect in the case. Eula asked Ellie if the alibi she helped Guda make at the time was true. Ellie answered affirmatively that she had lied at the time. Eula finally understood why Ellie had asked her if she had been with Guda that night. Unable to bear the truth, she felt a sharp pain in her stomach. Scared, Ellie quickly called for help. Eula was quickly taken to the hospital. After a detailed examination by the doctor, it was said that Eula needed to undergo surgery immediately. Guda, who had arrived, saw his wife lying on the hospital bed. Furious, he questioned Ellie about what she had done to her. Enzu, on the other hand, was also taken to the hospital by Eula's mother. The family members who learned of the situation hurriedly came over. In Ellie's mother's opinion, it was Eula's mother who forced her daughter to sign the settlement. Eula's mother said that Enzo had found his way home on his own. At this time, she received a phone call from Eula that she had miscarried. She panicked,